welcome back to Advocacy in Motion. I'm Tommy Finn, your host, and if you've seen our shows before, you know that we are here to give a vision and a voice to nonprofit organizations and individuals making an impact in our community. And before I introduce our guest today, I want to say thanks again to our presenting sponsor, Niagara. They allow us to do this show and to reach out to so many nonprofit organizations. And if you don't know, Niagara is the leading manufacturer and distributor of water-conserving plumbing products, and including their new stealth toilets that save up to 60% of water, which means 60% of cost. And that's important to everybody, but it's really important to the nonprofit organizations they support, such as Volunteers of America and their affordable housing. And saving nonprofit affordable housing 60% of cost that can go other places is very significant. So we appreciate their support. This past week, I was very fortunate to be invited down to Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children for a tour. And to say I was impressed is an understatement. I had no idea of the scope and the services and the depth and the culture of Texas Scottish Rite. And I'm so pleased to have Stephanie Brigger here today. She is the Vice President of Development for Texas Scottish Rite. Welcome.
Thank you, Tommy.
And Jeremy Howell. Jeremy Howell is Vice President for the North Campus for Texas Scottish Rite.
Thank you very much for having us.
Oh, God, I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be great. Stephanie, you've been with Scottish Rite for 35 years. And tell us a little bit about what first attracted you to Scottish Rite, and tell us about the hospital.
Well, I'm really fortunate to be at the hospital and be in the roles that I've been able to be part of. But I actually am an orthopedic RN by background, so I've got my nursing degree, and I got that from University of Iowa, and I'm reminded of how cold it is up there today and found my way to Dallas as quickly as I could out of that cold, and was working at Baylor and I was in orthopedics, went to a job fair and found a booth that was Scottish Rite Hospital for Children. And I said, there's a Pediatric Orthopedic Hospital here in Dallas, and they said yes. So I was attracted, wanted to be part of it. Well, there was no Indeed back then. It was classified ads is how you found your jobs. And there was a nursing shortage. And there was never an ad for a nurse for Scottish Rite. And I thought, well, that tells me everything. Nobody's leaving. So as soon as I saw an opening, I applied and became the director of the outpatient services. So I was very fortunate for the first 15 years to be able to work with the clinicians, but also to be part of the incredible care that we give to the patients and families. And then I was approached by the president about 20 years ago and asked if I was interested in working with the donors and the people who allow us to do the really great things that we do there. So I would have never dreamed that I was going to become a fundraiser, but it's so easy at Scottish Rite to ask people to support us. So I've been making friends for the hospital and raising funds for the last 20 years. Very fortunate to have both of those careers there.
Like I said, when I was there, I had no idea of the scope and the depth. Tell us some of the things. Well, tell us the background of Scottish Rite, how it came to be to begin with.
Okay, it's really a rich history. We just celebrated our 101st birthday. In 2021, we turned 100. We were actually started as a result of the polio pandemic, so very similar to what we've come out of with COVID. In the 20s, the polio was affecting many, many children. It was a scary time. They didn't know a lot about it. There was one pediatric orthopedist in Dallas, W.B. Carroll. He actually had a clinic right on the corner of Wellborn, or at Oaklawn and Maple. And he was a Scottish Rite Mason. As the epidemic grew, the Scottish Rite Masons asked him if he would take care of some of the kids that couldn't pay, and he said, absolutely, bring them on. And as there was more and more need, the Masons stepped up and built the first hospital. So we took care of kids with polio through the 30s, 40s, and 50s when the Salk and Sabin vaccine came along and eradicated polio in the Western Hemisphere. The board decided that we would continue to take care of kids with orthopedic problems. So that has been our mission. That's been our niche. We are a specialty hospital that take care of kids with any kind of muscle, bone, or joint problem.
All right. Now, Jeremy, you're up at Scottish Rite, and this is North Campus. That's fairly new.
It is fairly new.
Tell us about that.
Right. So the hospital in, I guess it was probably around 2015, the summer of 2015, we purchased land up in the Frisco area. So it's in Frisco, Texas. And the reason why we did that was for a lot of different reasons. But when we looked at all of our patients and where they were coming from, so Scottish Rite serves the whole state of Texas and really patients throughout the United States and even throughout the whole world. But when we looked at our patient population, 25% came from an area that Frisco was kind of in the middle of, which all the population growth is really no surprise. But we looked at that, and then also at that time, sports medicine became the fastest growing subspecialty within pediatric orthopedics. And so it made sense to, for the convenience for those families up in that area, and then also to find a home for our sports medicine program was to do that in Frisco. And so we opened that facility up in October of 2018. So we're in we celebrating our 5th birthday up in Frisco in October of 2023.
All right. Stephanie, like I said, when I was taking the tour, I was just amazed. We went from floor to floor to floor, and so many different specialties there, so many different things. Tell us a bit about what all is there.
So we actually have 6 centers of excellence, and it's concentrated on the different areas of the body. So we have Center of Excellence in spine, in hip, in hand, in limb lengthening, and in clubfoot, as well as in sports medicine. And what that means is to have a center of excellence and to have the best patient care, you also need to have research and education. So those 3 areas are what make up each of those centers. We have a very active research program, over 300 research projects right now. We have over 50 patents that you saw in our research area. So that's a really important part of the hospital. Teaching is also key to being the best. And so we have students, residents, fellows in all areas. So not just in medicine, but also all nursing, PT, OT, all areas of the hospital have students that are learning. We have a fellowship program that I think we're celebrating our 35th year of that fellowship program, and we take 5 fellows. Those are doctors that are wanting to specialize in pediatric orthopedics, and they come to Scottish Rite and they learn for 1 year. And we actually have, we've educated over 200 of those doctors. So then they've gone out. Scottish Rite is all over the country and the world.
You mentioned your patents and research. Tell us a little bit more about the research and the importance of what you do for all of medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could take that one. I actually, for about 10 years, oversaw at least the business side of our research program. But the mission of research at Scottish Rite is really to find new and better ways to take care of the kids we serve. And so the hospital's had a very rich history of really asking those questions. What can we do to help these kids? What's the reason for, the issues they're having? How can we make treatment better? And so they really do that through 3 mechanisms. So clinical research. So clinical research is where you are looking at your either enrolling kids, the patients into a study that you're looking at how their outcomes are being looked at. So you're really just focusing on the things that happen in the clinic. Or you have basic science research, which is where you're looking at the genetics of what's going on. at that level. And then applied research where you're looking at instrumentation, and that's where a lot of those patents come from, is creating new instruments that can help these kids. So we created a spinal implant system that was the number one spinal implant system sold throughout the world, and it really helped these kids and improve the outcomes they were having in scoliosis surgeries. We have another apparatus that can work with limb lengthening and reconstruction of limbs that is sold throughout the world with Orthofix, that we have patents on that as well. And then through our basic science research, we discovered the first gene ever associated with idiopathic scoliosis. That was Dr. Carol Wise who discovered that. And so the hope there is over time, can you discover these genetic mechanisms? Are there pharmaceutical interventions or things that can be used to help target that, to help these kids in the future? I could go on and on. We have our movement science lab that's part of research, and specifically up in Frisco, we have a movement science lab up there that is really geared towards athletes, where our researchers, our medical staff are looking at these kids and how they move, and are they susceptible to certain types of injuries. We're really studying what's the best way to do ACL reconstruction surgery on kids whose bones are still growing. And so in our movement science lab, they can connect these markers and really get normal data, which are kids have never had an injury, and understand how they move. And then when we have a kid who has an injury, we can understand, comparing that to the normal data, and just really trying to understand what's best for these kids. So it's really exciting.
All right, very good, and terrific work, I know. I'm going to take a little break here and mention one of our other sponsors that make this possible. When we come back, I have a gift for you. Maybe a re-gift, and I want to talk a little bit about the culture of Scottish Rite, but I want to thank our friends at Prana Haven. It's this wonderful little gift shop in downtown Richardson. Prana is Sanskrit for energy and life force, and that's kind of what you'll find there. And we're real pleased with their sponsorship for us to let us go on, along with Niagara. And if you go in, if you see Alex, tell her Dad said hello. It happens to be a family-owned business. So they have wonderful free trade merchandise, gifts, jewelry, artwork. And every fourth Saturday of the month, they have Psychic Fair. So you can go to piranhahaven.com, see all that they do there, and see the readers, and stop in, see all they have for you. So we want to thank them for their support and their work in the community as well. So as I said, I have a gift for you. This is actually the gift you gave me, and you will see in there is a box of popcorn. And when we were taking the tour, we went into an area, and as you walk in the area, you get the aroma of popcorn, and you and Haley just sort of lit up. You felt comfortable in there, and I did as well. And the popcorn seems to be a symbol of the culture of the hospital, of how friendly it is, how you make everybody at home. Tell us a little bit how that evolved.
Well, I can't believe you made it home without eating it.
Well,
it's really good.
We may start eating it right now.
It will be gone before, but I had that in mind to bring into.
Well, thank you. That's so sweet. The intent is to make the hospital the friendliest place it could be, so that the children aren't scared. Nobody wants to go to a hospital or to a doctor, but it's to make sure that they feel comfortable coming. They look forward to their popcorn at the end of the visit. There's also beautiful parks that is a part of that experience. If the weather's nice, they include playing outdoors. There's so many unique things about the hospital. So when a child comes in, they actually will see the same doctor and team every time. So those people become part of their family. They're familiar to them. The volunteers, we have a very robust volunteer program. Prior to COVID, we had over 1,000 volunteers. We've brought them back, and we're so happy to have them, but they also are part of that care that's given. So it's all about that positive experience that a patient receives once they come onto the campus. The security officer greets you. It's free parking. It's easy access. Something else that is very unique about the hospital is the fact that we have not charged for our services. So a family receives the care regardless of their ability to pay. That is unheard of, and we've been doing it for over 100 years. So I think that also adds to the satisfaction of the staff to be able to assess a patient and a family, identify what they need, and be able to provide it to them so that all is seamless. We do have Crayon Care, which is the program that will help someone who does not have the financial ability to pay. So they are going to get whatever they need regardless of their ability to pay.
That's terrific. And I know it is unheard of, and it is something that, you've been doing since day one, I guess, of the hospital. I did notice that every aspect of the hospital is patient-friendly. You don't go into room 102, you go to the room with the elephant on the wall. Or tell us about how all that, it works so beautifully to make it a friendly place.
It's very colorful. The railings are down near where a young child could access them. Like you said, each of the clinic areas is named for. There's an ABC clinic, a summer clinic, a winter clinic, an Olympic clinic, and then you would go into the camel room where you remembered the elephant room, and everything is designed to make it easy and fun for the kids. So that they look forward to coming back to see their doctors and their friends at the hospital.
It was interesting when we were building or designing the Frisco campus. We went through great lengths to meet with staff and to really take that culture that is at our Dallas campus, and how do we take that and move that to our Frisco campus. And so you'll notice a lot of the same things even up there is the primary colors that we have, the open spaces, the light. One of the things we've always prided ourselves on is that it doesn't smell, feel, or look like a hospital. And so we have the popcorn as well. These kids, when they come in, and like even in the sports clinic, we even changed that concept a little bit to where it was more sports friendly, because a lot of these kids that come in, they're coming in and they're identifying as a college, like that college athlete, or Patrick Mahomes with the Kansas City Chiefs, or, I guess Dak Prescott, we need to say, with the Cowboys since we're here in Dallas. But, where they come in and there's sports memorabilia around and things that they can see just to really make them to feel at ease where they are.
I noticed you had a room with athletes' pictures on the wall. Tell us about some of the athletes that come through and some of the importance that it is and what it means to the kids.
Oh, yeah. We're really fortunate that, we have so many friends that want to come and visit our kids. In December, typically the Dallas Cowboys come by the first Monday of December and visit our kids. The cheerleaders are there. It's really a great day. They do games with them. This year, for the first time, the Luka Doncic Foundation came, and they just did it up. I mean, we had balloons and hot chocolate, and they had chosen all kinds of beautiful, developmentally appropriate toys for the kids. I mean, it was really a special day. And then we typically get one of the teams that are coming to the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, and they make a visit. So we had USC visit our hospital, and we had the Heisman Trophy winner.
We did have the Heisman Trophy. I think this is like the third, Heisman Trophy. Yeah. Johnny Manziel and Ricky Williams.
Is it Caleb Williams?
And then Caleb Williams this year. So we've had our share of Heisman Trophy candidates come through.
It's a highlight for the kids. Yeah. You can't pull them away. They don't really want to go into their appointments.
I understand. All part of the culture. Sports medicine. I know Frisco campus is devoted to a lot of that. My partner, Tricia, publishes, we have a magazine called Youth Sports Today. It's a digital magazine, and we focus on the student athlete, the coaches, their parents. And we kind of cross over a lot with this show and the magazine. And athlete safety is a major, major concern. What are some of the things you guys are working on as far as preventing accidents in sports medicine?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that's, Probably part of the reason why sports medicine is fast growing in pediatric youth sports. I don't know about you, but growing up, I grew up in the Dallas area, and I did not really know too many kids that had ACL injuries at the time. It seems like there's a lot of them these days, and so a lot of that is, I think, as growing up as we did, we played football in the fall, and we played, basketball in the winter, probably ran track in the spring maybe, or played baseball. And then when we weren't doing that, we were horse playing outside with our friends and playing pickup games and running around and doing all that. And so the difference is today you're seeing more and more kids specializing in sports at a very early age, where you used to not see that. And I'm guilty of it. My own daughter, played club soccer for many years, and you start off very young doing specialized sports, so you're not doing all these things that work on multiple muscle groups. You're doing the same repetitive thing over and over again. And so what we're finding is we're having a lot of these overuse injuries in kids, and even the traumatic injuries. People are bigger, faster, stronger today, so you're getting injuries that typically probably didn't happen. And so one of the things we want to do is, we know we're not going to change society and doing that, but we do want to walk alongside these families and help them to be better and to help them with their muscles and strengthening the things that they need to do. So we do focus a lot on injury prevention. We have a program we call it the Bridge program at the hospital, where in our Frisco campus, where people can sign up and kind of do a lot of different strengthening those core muscles and things to do that, and understanding where their weaknesses are as they're growing. We also do a lot of outreach initiatives where we're educating coaches, we're educating families on the importance of multi-sports and working out these extra muscle groups. In our research program, our movement science lab, Dr. Sophia Ullman, who's over that, the director of that lab, is doing a study. It's called the SAFE initiative, where they're taking athletes that are normal, but gathering them in their field of sport and putting these biomarkers on them, where they can understand how their movements are, and tracking a lot of that. And then what they're hoping to do is injury surveillance. So if something happens, they come back, and then we'll test them, and so we can kind of understand what happened, like where did things go wrong. So we're really trying to do that and walk along these families and just really help them with just understanding what's out there and strengthening those muscles, so hopefully they're better.
Is that what would you say to parents who has a young child and says, "Mom, Dad, I want to play football, or I want to be in gymnastics," or whatever it might be? What do you say to the parents' advice to them?
I think it's let a kid be a kid. I think if you look at a lot of the athletes who are either Division I, it's a small spectrum. You look at the percentage of the amount of people who actually make it to D1 sports, and then you look at the percentage of people that actually make it into professional sports. It's very, very small. So my advice is to let the kid be a kid, have fun, play multi-sports. A lot of the people who do end up going to Division I or professional sports, a lot of them played multi-sports. They didn't start off so young. They played a variety of different sports. It makes you an overall better athlete. So I think let the kid listen to the kid too, and what they want to do, and understand that. But I think playing multi-sports is going to help them overall in the long run and make them an overall better athlete and keep them safer.
Very good. Stephanie, I know you had sort of a wall of honor photographs of kids, of success stories. What are some of the real success stories that you guys are so proud of?
Oh, there's so many kids that, have overcome obstacles and really accomplished more than others. I think we talked about the ski trips. So that's one of the things. We look at the child, we want to treat the whole child. And that includes, wanting to go to camp and to do what all other kids are doing. So for 40 years now, we've taken a group of teenagers that are missing any combination of their limbs, and we've taken them to Winter Park, and they learned to ski. But more importantly, they learned so many life lessons. It may be the first time that they've been on a plane. It may be the first time that they've been around another person that was, missing an arm or a leg, and all the sharing that happens there. So many of our kids have identified that as transforming their lives and making such a difference. So, those types of things are important, and the hospital is committed to making sure that child gets all those experiences.
Yeah, that ski trip, we've both been on it. I went on a number of years ago, and I've been at the hospital for probably 12 years, and the ski trip is really just boiled down to 1 week, the essence of Scottish Rite. And when I went on that, you go as a chaperone. You have seven boys, 7 girls. And on the way up the mountain, you land in Denver and you drive up to the mountain, and the car is just completely quiet. I mean, you feel like this awkward parent driving, these kids in your car, and you're like, my goodness, I got to come up with topics. What type of music do I play? And then they get up there, they get up to the mountain, and when you're staying, and just like Stephanie was saying, there may be someone from there. They may be the first person from their hometown that has a prosthetic limb. They may have never seen anyone like themselves. They go on this trip and they see all these kids. And, like that first night, they'll all jump in the hot tub, and it's hilarious. You go walking by and all these prosthetic limbs are sitting in the snow, and people are walking by like, what? But these kids get up there and their personalities come out, and they're around other kids like themselves. They learn to do things they never thought possible, going down a mountain in a ski, and they're on prosthetic limbs, either in a sitting chair or some other device. And then on the way home, so, on the way up there, it's completely quiet. And then on the way home, man, you can't shut them up. I mean, it's so loud. They're so excited. They're talking. Their personalities really come out. And to me, that was what Scottish Rite Hospital's about, is you're treating the diagnosis, but you're really bringing out who they are as individuals and treating the whole child. So
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Stephanie, what's in the future? What's coming up for Scottish Rite this year? Tell us a little bit about fundraising, about programs, events. What can we look forward to?
Thanks, Tommy. So our whole philosophy of fundraising is making friends. We actually call it friend raising. And so we are always looking to introduce the hospital to new individuals, organizations, corporations, foundations, as well as keeping our friends. We like to get to know a person, and it's genuine. It's really, we're looking at a custom fit and a long-term relationship with you. And we do that by bringing people in, like you coming for the tour. And if we can get you through that front door and you can see and feel, and so many people then want to be a part of it. You're seeing a success story there. You see that the kids are really happy and that there's really incredible things going on at the hospital. So that was something I truly missed during COVID. That was tough, not to have people coming in the hospital. It also was really tough because we didn't have this. Oh. So we didn't have popcorn.
Magic sauce.
Yeah. So it's been so nice to, again, welcome people back into the hospital, give tours, even, be able to sit down and have a cup of coffee and, a lunch together. We found that to be a really effective way to, get to know people and get to know what you like, what you would like to be involved in. And then, of course, we have many activities. So we have a lot of fundraisers, or from golf tournaments to, we have also a lot of grassroots activities that our patient families or friends do in their communities. So from a lot of clay shoot to a casino night to a tractor pull in East Texas, chili cook-off, you name it. We probably have had a fundraiser. In fact, there was a car show in our parking lot on Sunday that was a little cold, but people still came out. So it really is about making friends for the hospital, and that's how we've survived through the years. That's how we're able to do what we do, is by making friends and getting them involved, and, of course, bringing in the funds, too.
What's new for you, Jeremy, for coming up this year?
Growth. It's amazing. I don't think I have to probably tell anyone how the Collin County, Denton County, Frisco, Prosper, Salina population growth, the boom that's going on and continues to go on. And so, our mission is to give children back their childhood and to provide the best orthopedic care, and we do. And so how do we continue to meet the growth demands really in the community? And we're doing that through, we're already, the Frisco campus, I said earlier, opened in 2018. 30% of that building is shelled for growth, and we've already started adding some build out into that with clinic rooms. We're adding clinic rooms. We're adding physical therapy, occupational therapy space. You start looking at operating rooms. All that stuff is just meeting the demand for growth and making sure we can take care of these kids.
All right. Now, I know there's a way people can get in touch with you. Your website, how can people get in touch with you?
They can always call us.
Okay.
We answer our phones.
Wow,
we don't screen any of our phones. We're there, to be there to help and answer questions. But we also, of course, are on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We also have our website, so ScottishRiteForChildren.org. All those ways. And we'd love to hear from people. We're here. I feel like the hospital, to me, has always been a gift from the community to children. That's what our mission has been. It's amazing how many people help us out and how many people are dedicated to our mission.
All right. Well, if you want to get in touch with Stephanie, want to help Scottish Rite Hospital, please do so. Also, if there is someone out in the community that we should reach out to, if there's a nonprofit or if there's an individual making an impact, we'd like to know about it, and we'd like to share that with somebody. So you can always reach me at thomas@tjadvocacy.com. Just drop me a little email, and we'll reach out to people organizations that are near and dear to your heart. So I want to thank our sponsors again, Niagara, for allowing us to continue with what we're doing here and with Piranha Haven. And Jeremy and Stephanie, thank you so much for being here and for just letting me know more about Scottish Rite and the people out there. Is there anything you'd like to say?
No, we appreciate you, Tommy, and I'm so glad you were able to come and we were able to show you the hospital. It's our pleasure. It's really to be able to share such a beautiful gift.
Yeah, well, and I would say, Tommy, if you want to come up to the Frisco campus sometime, I'd love to, give you a tour, walk you around.
I would like to do that, and I'd like to bring Tricia with us, publisher of our magazine. We've already talked to Haley, and we will want to publish some articles about you guys in the magazine and put a little notice in there. So we'll work with you guys on that. So that's fun, and I would love to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really
Anytime.
All right, and I don't know if you can see back here your lovely campus back there, just how the hospital has grown over the years. So thanks again. We appreciate it, and we look forward to doing more with you guys.
Thank you,
Tommy.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.